Let's fucking go.
Ready or not, I'm making waves. Ready or not, you can't escape. Ready or not, I'm on my way. You can't stop what I got. Ready or not, I come, so you better get ready. Get ready. Something big is about to go down. Ready or not.
The road to red snow begins tonight. Here as we crown the inaugural Arcadia Ring King. Is it gonna be Doom? Is it gonna be Mrs. Foley's baby boy scissors? Is it gonna be the ferryman tombstone? Or could it be the pilgrim druid? We're gonna find out tonight. So, let's get hype, boys. This is OSW. We are OSW. And let's show these motherfuckers why. This is Ring King. Welcome to Ring King. Here we go. My webcam's a little jacked up. Let me fix that. All right, here we are. We are ready to go. Oh man, it looks like I didn't get it quite as centered as I wanted to, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. Here we are. Want to throw out some big props, first of all, to Dean for putting that video together. Man's a beast. He got it going on with the, him even having COVID, so get well. And I'm excited to see what we have here tonight for Ring King. Something else I was going to say before we jumped in, because I want to get right into it. Thank you, Brino. So at some point, my family is going to be trying to watch a movie off our Plex server. So please let me know if we have drop frames, and I will get them to turn it off. But we're going to go ahead and see how that works. Yes, Matt, I'm excited to see how the bingo card thing works, because I do think that would be an amazing thing to add to our streams, which hopefully you'll be seeing that on our next one, which is Level Mania, which is not that far off. All right, cool deal. Let's get this motherfucker started. Man, I'm really off on my proportions. Laner talks. I just won. This is going to bother me. Just give me just a moment. Is it showing that? Okay, it's not showing that. Okay. Give me just a second here. We're going to jump into it. So, while I'm doing that, I want to ask everybody, before we get started, well, not really even ask everybody. That was definitely not porn. Actually, I have no idea. Matt, how do you start a poll? I was going to start a poll for the Ring King. Listen, you guys saw... Continue watching The Last Thing He Told Me ever after A Cinderella Story and Major League 1 and 2 from my continue watching part of Plex. /poll. So do I just do /poll and then it's going to let me do... Aha, there it is. Open a setup menu. Question. Ring King. Duration. Here we go. Get those votes in. Let's see. Poll has begun. You have 1 minute. Who will win? Who will win? While I'm doing that, I want to thank Alex and Zach for their wonderful sub continuations. Really curious to see how this turns out. didn't even have to do anything with that. Alright, that looks better. Alright, sweet. Who? Look at that. 7 people voted, and we have a tie between Tombstone and Doom. So I just want to say, if Tombstone and Doom aren't the finals, you guys suck. On picking. Poor Matt didn't even get a vote. Man, that makes me want to see Druitt win. But then that would involve Druitt winning, so I don't even know that I want to see that. So, we'll see what happens. Yeah, Matt doesn't even have confidence in himself. I mean, hey, we saw our first dual winner of Lambs to the Slaughter this year. Maybe we'll see our first dual king. All right, anyway, all that aside, let's get started on this motherfucker and let's see what's going on. How are we going to kick off our Ring King? The same way we kick off everything, with a click, some static, and a play symbol in the bottom right-hand corner. But this segment is going to have Miss Narcissa Balenciaga here, and it's entitled Acropolis Killer. We start off with Narcissa Balenciaga and Artemis. They're climbing the stairs together. They're cloaked in hooded attire so that their faces aren't seen. Narcissa's got a busy night ahead of her, and keeping her secret has been top priority. They finally reach their destination, standing outside the doors of Acropolis. These people kept us safe in their homes, Narcissa reminds Artemis. They harbored the uprising in our time of need. Do you have the credits? Artemis reaches inside her bag, pulling out a brown satchel. We love a good satchel. And a teddy bear. I brought this for Anna, she says for a smile. Oh, no. Narcissa chuckles. You're a softie, aren't you? The VHS champion remarks, pushing the door open. Stream Elements just timed out my wife. Amazing. I bet it's one of my children. That's amazing. Thank you for the view. That I can literally hear them screaming upstairs right now. That's amazing. That was definitely my child. Hey, Evie, how are you doing? Oh my goodness. Don't make me ban my dear sweet wife. Oh man. All right. So back in the mood. They're very noisy. They should be eating dinner. So Anna, as we all know from last week, may no longer be among the living. So let's get going down through here. Narcissa says, you're a softie to Artemis. She is the VHS champion. We'll see her defend that in a four-way later on. They push the doors open. And as she does, a gust of air hits her face. It stomps her dead in her tracks. That's a smell she'd taken in many times before, one she'll never forget. She quickly turns to Artemis, places a hand on her chest, halting her. No, she gasps. Don't. Artemis frowns at her and pushes on past into Acropolis. She didn't get it. She didn't understand. But the moment she lays eyes on the carnage therein, she gets it. It takes her a moment. Tears well up in her eyes, and the stench of death firmly is in her nostrils. She suddenly starts to panic. Anna, she calls out. Before Narcissa can stop her, she rushes into the level head first, searching all the bodies as she scans in desperation and panic for the little girl. It isn't her who finds Anna, it's Narcissa. The champ can't say a word. She's lost to the carnage. As Artemis looks up and realizes, she rushes over to Anna, cradling the young child in her arms, screaming into the deathly void with agonizing pain. We look back at the teddy dropped in the mire of viscera. Did we do this? Artemis cries out through gritted teeth and flowing tears. You did. The uprising leader lowers her head and we cut away. As we've seen over the last weeks, Ares and his group of thugs wiped out all the people in Acropolis, including poor Anna, the little girl that they brought a teddy bear for, because Zeus was able to, we'll call it escape. He was rescued by the outcast, who we know is Hercules. So now Narcissa and Artemis know that that happened, and we'll see what they're going to do about it. Yes, hell of a segment. All right, we're going to start off with a match. No, with a segment. Down with the sickness. We've got Gemini, a.k.a. Nurgle, and Luther Grimm in this segment, or at least it's for their feud. We're in the red district. Nurgle glides as if slithering back to the cesspool of the red district that she has sunk her claws into previously. But tonight, instead of the regular hustle and bustle of the red, she finds a stoic wall of people meeting her head on. There's fear in their eyes, but resolve. Ladies of the night, patrons, Arcadians, one and all stand against her. At their head, the hunter himself, Luther Grimm. Okay. Yet in his eyes, there's no sense of fear, just determination. He raises his spear towards Gemini as she approaches. When I inherited this fight from Fidel, I did so almost unwillingly. It was the thrill of the hunt that sold me in the beginning, but the more I've studied you, watched you, this has become bigger than just the hunt. He beckons with his free hand to the people standing behind them. Fidel's people, customers, workers, Eden. Those that you threaten with your mere presence, you are pestilence, disease. The more I allow you to roam free, the more you feed. Disease threatens the game I hunt, your disease. You must be stopped. If not for Armand Fidel, then so I can hunt free. He raises his spear. These people stand defiantly against you, but tonight, that's the least of your worries. Grimm throws his spear at Gemini, but she erupts a swarm from her mouth that chews through the wood of the spear as it sails, disintegrating it midair. As you wish. She hisses the warning at him, gliding menacingly towards Grimm and the horde of people. Grimm comes out to meet her, and the pair lock horns. They trade blows, with Grimm getting the upper hand with a flurry of fists that hit home. He catches Gemini around the throat. He's choking her out, but her swarm surrounds them. The night is black with the flutter of wings. Poetic. When the swarm subsides, Grimm is still standing, but Gemini is gone. In his hand sits an apple, crawling with pestilence-ridden insects. Grimm throws the apple to the ground in frustration and crushes it under his foot. They will meet again in Olympus. The hunt is on, and we cut away. All right. I'm going to try not to say okay, since Alex called me out on saying okay after a segment. I dig this here. I still am ready to see what happens when these two stop playing games. We'll see what happens, Jordan. I'm coming for you. But here we go. The first match. The tag team champions collide. Semi-final Ring King match. Doom versus Scissors. The round of four is set. Rivalries are on full display, especially in this odyssey between Scissor and Doom. Will the Doctor get the unkind cut, or is the Master of Strings will have his cut? Written by Brino. The bell rings and Scissors and Doom lock up. No, wait! Doom has his hands wrapped around the throat of the marionettist. The hands of Doom are at work, choking the life out of Scissors. The Master of Strings is fading as the mad scientist squeezes. Scissors drops to his knees, his head lolling back and forth, as Doom moves his thumbs over the windpipe of the former Foley, and we hear servos in his gloves begin to whine as the Doctor screams, "Die! Die! Die!" Doom gets down on his knees as well, his hands unmoving, servos still whining, staring into the mask of the man who started his odyssey. Scissors' head goes lifeless. Only a faint gurgling can be heard as Doom looks at the referee to call. And when he looks back, he's face to face with the sinister Scissors, who retorts, "No." Headbutt, head clap, mandible claw. He's forcing his fingers under the metal mask of Doom. The marionettist just played a one-man game of rock, paper, scissors. But instead of using the hold to put the Doctor out, Scissors is using it to drag Doom into the corner, slamming the Arcadian inventor's head off the top turnbuckle repeatedly as the crowd counts along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Doom slumps in the corner as Scissors starts laying in the boot, stomping a mud hole in the chest of the Doctor. Shades of Foley. These boots were made for countering. As Doom couches the foot of Scissors in one hand as he returns to his feet. Doom jumps into the air. Levitating kick to the head. Hover. No. Powerbomb counter by Scissors. Wham. Twice. Baham. Thrice. And the Archimedes principle sure the hell was not nice. As Scissors stacks Doom on his shoulders for the cover. And it gets a 1. The red light nightmare has Doom where he wants him. It gets a 2. As Scissors cut the Doctor's strings. 3. No, wait. Is that Flight of the Valkyries? This must be a bad monologue. Or to drone on. Drones from the rafters. They fly in, staggering Scissors with projectiles and breaking up the cover while laying out a cloud of smoke. As the smoke fades, Doom's visage cuts through the haze, aided by the thrusters in his boots. It's the splitter cutting Scissors in half with a spear into a cover. Kick out with no count leaves Doom sitting in disbelief, the eyes behind his mask conveying the shock. The Master of Strings soon joins the Doctor sitting up next to him. Scissors looks at his fellow tag team champion, laughing maniacally, and Doom joins him as the ring is filled with the laughter of the Sinister Two before Doom slaps the puppeteer and Scissors returns the blow. This continues as both men work their way back to their feet, exchanging blows, the slaps becoming punches, punches becoming haymakers. As the crowd comes to their feet, a mixture of jeers and cheers erupt after each blow. Doom manages to get the upper hand, looking to whip Scissors into the ropes, but the marionettist reverses it, sending the Doctor into the ropes instead, straight into a quick snip power fucking slam. Scissors picks Doom up off the canvas quickly, sets the scene for Little Mary Murder to take center stage. The double underhook pile driver, but it's countered by the Doctor. He spins out, levitating into the air, hitting the spin kick to the head. Hover, no bother. Staggers Mrs. Foley's baby boy. He goes down to one knee. Doom eyeballs the kneeling Scissors before rushing forward. The scrambler knee strike is en route. Scissors dodges, bridging into a crab walk before spinning up and hitting a snap double-arm DDT. Shades of Felix coming to the surface again with Scissors cutting these strings. The Master of Strings covers Doom. He's got the inside leg. Is this it? 1. Doom could be out. We got a 2. Is this it? Did Foley just resurface to put away the maniac who hurt his mom? 3? No! Doom gets his hand under the bottom rope. Damn it. I felt that one. Scissors Googles the Doctor, pulling him back to his feet. Crack! A massive blow to the side of the inventor's head wakes a dazed Doom, whose eyes almost bulge from his mask in rage. Doom returns fire, as when Scissors goes high, the Doctor goes low with a kick to the groin, dropping the Master of Strings to his knees once more. Doom backs away, a monster now playing with his prey. He holds a finger in the air as if to check the wind direction before he rushes in with a punt kick to the skull of Scissors. The Doctor just broke the fucking jar. He goes into the cover. It gets a 1. Has Doom put down the monster who nearly drowned him in the Odyssey pool? 2. Did Scissors' leg just twitch? Maybe, but the movement isn't enough. The ref counts to 3. Doom has walked away, but just barely. After this war, which begs the question, what's left of the Doctor for the finals? We're not finished here, though. Doom's henchmen make their way to the ring and grab Scissors. He's got something else planned. But what? Your winner in advancing to the main event, to the Ring King final, Doom. Hell of a match, Brino. Hell of a match. Hell of a match. Very, very nice. Well, this is definitely Doomsday. See what you did there. What is next? Beautiful opening match. The tone has been set for the night. Well, we've got Grimskull and some dude I don't know. And then segment entitled Conquest. I assume we're going to find out who this guy is. Love the poser, though. We're many years ago. Walter sits on the floor somewhere we've never seen before. Remember, that's Grimskull. His head no longer covered in flesh. Even he doesn't know how he's alive. If you've forgotten, we saw at Ring of Dreams how Walter and Vincent, who became Vision, were freed from death row from the third eye. and all they had to do was go through their ceremony. Well, Walter refused and got his head dunked and his skull and his skin burned away. He should be done. He should be dead. But he was saved by some guy. This guy. And so here he is. He doesn't even know how he's alive. His head is now the skull that it is today. A man with white hair and a gray beard sits behind him with large spikes and a hammer. He's wearing a large black brimmed hat and a red coat. With a gruff voice, the man lowers a spike onto the head of Grinskull and painstakingly begins hammering it into his skull. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as if it were the noise of thunder. Crack! Walter doesn't even wince in pain. One of the four beasts saying, "Come and see, I know this." Crack! The man grabs a second spike, placing that near the first. With his hammer in hand, he continues to drive it into his skull. And I saw and behold a white horse. Another crack. Walter begins smiling. He that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. He went forth conquering and to conquer. With the second spike now firmly in his skull, the man takes a concoction of something hot and sticky, using a brush to meld it around the spikes. Out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. When they saw him, they fell dead at his feet. He laid hands upon them, saying, "Fear not, I am the first and the last." The man stops and stands up, and Walter meets him there, looking him dead in the eyes. "You now have a crown fit to conquer, boy. Write the things which thou hast seen, and the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. I hath the keys of hell and death, but you will help me write their passage in time." "I will," Walter replies. "They will call me Grimskull, and I will speak of servitude and enduring pain to conquer all." The man places hands on both hands on his shoulder and smiles wildly. "Seek your vengeance, Grimskull, and when the time is nigh, I and the other three horsemen will rise to meet you at the gates of hell itself. You ride the white horse. You are conquest. Go forth and conquer." With that, Grimskull walks out of the slums, his mission known. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That text is the black text that we have seen. Like the verses type stuff, right? Is that right, Dean? That's what we saw in those kind of random inserts of stuff with the "Behold a white horse" and all that stuff. That was what we saw in those like black and white segments, I think. Okay, good. Haha, I remembered right. Man, and I was even okay. Good, I was right. That went with Grimskull. Okay, cool. So Grimskull is the first of the horsemen. So we've got this guy that we don't know his name of, maybe Hades, and there's going to be three more horsemen. So he's the white horse. He's conquest. He was mentioned by name in one. He was, wasn't he? Because one of the seven churches or something like that. It may not have been seven. Seven is what's in the Bible. It may have been something different in what she wrote. Yes, who the hell are going to be the other horsemen? This, I feel like, is going to be a nice little ongoing storyline for a while. Great segment. Does a lot for me, and I think it's really going to push a lot of good things forward. All right. Hell yeah. What do we got next? All right. We are going to 7 is the Seals of the Apocalypse. But before that, here we are. Ring King semifinals match number 2. Tombstone Tombstone faces Druid. The Rewind title is not on the line. This is a grudge match, just as Doom and Scissors was. We all know the story. Druid is immortal, thanks to the ambrosia he got from Teddy O'Toole, and Tombstone does not like it. Druid did a number on Ego Mortis, and Tombstone has vowed to abandon his role as Ferryman of the Dead until he's taken care of Druid. And we don't know what that's going to cause just yet. Jesse wrote this match, expecting a good one. Matt, clinch up, buddy. Here we go. The bell rings. Tombstone and Druid collide full force in the middle of the ring. Big right from Tombstone. Big right hand from Druid. Another punch from Tombstone to Druid's face. Druid returns the favor. The two Titans trade punches back and forth until Tombstone's punch staggers Druid back into the ropes, affording the Ferryman the upper hand. Tombstone whips Druid across the ring, and on the rebound, a massive big boot. Blah, blah, blah. Something stuck in the back of my throat. It's split an atom. Tombstone whips Druid across the ring, and on the rebound, a massive big boot nearly not only takes. Why can't I read that sentence? A massive big boot nearly takes not only Druid's mask off, but nearly his whole head. There we go. I made it. Druid manages to get back to his feet, but Tombstone grapples the journeyman and lifts him up onto his shoulder. Druid's giant frame slides out from Tombstone's clutches, though. He lands behind him before grappling Tombstone from behind. Belly-to-back suplex. Now it's Tombstone who's on the defensive, pulling himself up by the ropes. Then Druid whips Tombstone across the ring, and on the rebound, big boot, but it's ducked. Tombstone continues his momentum into the ropes. Off the rebound, he launches himself at Druid. Flipping clothesline drops Druid. It sounds like a car crash in the ring from the force of that landing. And Tombstone stalks Druid as they get to their feet. He socks him into the corner, slaps both hands on Druid's throat. He's choking the life out of him. The ref interjects with a 5 count, but nothing will deter the fury in Tombstone's eyes, and he simply will not let go. The ref wedges himself between the two Titans, forcing a break and warning Tombstone that a disqualification would send Druid to the finals. Matt's wishing for the DQ, but Tombstone's more concerned than just punishing Druid that way. Finger thrust jab, finger thrust punch, delayed finger thrust uppercut, the Ferryman's knock. Tombstone aggressively whips Druid to the opposite corner, and he crashes back first into the turnbuckles. Tombstone immediately follows up with a running corner clothesline. Tombstone walks Druid out of the middle of the ring by his neck. He turns, he's holding on. Neckbreaker! Tombstone into the cover. One! But Druid kicks out with ease. It's not going to be that easy. Tombstone will have to dig deeper if he wants to put Druid's soul to rest tonight, and he aggressively stays on his opponent as they get to their feet. Tombstone goes to whip Druid into the ropes again, but Druid reverses it, twisting Tombstone's arm, pulling Tombstone in, knee to the gut, another, the trifecta. Tombstone's doubled over, holding his abdomen. Druid locks his arm around Tombstone's neck, hoisting him up into the air. He jerks down, implant DDT, the sightseer lands. Druid log rolls Tombstone. He hooks a leg. He gets a 1. He gets a 2, but Tombstone with the shoulder up. Druid reacts by changing course. He stomps on the grounded Tombstone's neck over and over again as the crowd watches on in awe. This is more than just a match. This is personal. And thus there's more than just a trip to Ring King finals at stake here. As Tombstone grasps at his neck, Druid climbs the nearest turnbuckle to the top, stalking the rising Tombstone and leaping at him just as he turns. Leaping clothesline, countered into a boss man slam that shakes the entire arena. You cannot run from the Ferryman. They're laughing like crazy out there. He caught him in midair with that one, and Druid is down. But Tombstone knows it will take more than that to keep him down. He's digging deeper. He gut-wrenches his nemesis to his feet before lifting Druid up with all of his might. Ode to Sharon. Jackknife, powerbomb. As Druid's legs flop onto the mat, Tombstone puts out the proverbial cigar on Druid's chest, burning him, just as he did several weeks ago in the incinerator. And he hooks a leg, and he gets a 1. He gets a 2. Will it be vengeance? No, not yet. Druid bench presses Tombstone off of him at the last millisecond. Love it. Tombstone can't believe it. The crowd can't believe it. Tombstone stalks Druid once more from behind as he rises, raising his hand up to signal the end. The goozle! Tombstone stares deep into Druid's soul as he squeezes the air out of his lungs. But a goozle from Druid! His fighting spirit is providing a second wind. They jostle for position. Who will gain the upper hand? They're choking each other out. Who's going to gain the upper hand? Tombstone chops Druid arm off his throat. Tombstone goozles him with all his might. He shakes his head. He hoists Druid up high. For whom the bell tolls. Falling choke slam to the knees. Tombstone crosses Druid's arms on his chest. He flips his hair back as the ref counts along with the crowd. 1, 2. Is this it? Is this it? Can you hear the bells? You can! The 3 count lands. Tombstone is advancing to the Ring King finals, avenging Igor Mortis's beatdown by Druid in the process. Tombstone versus Doom in the finals for the inaugural Arcadian Ring King. What a match that will be. Great match, Jesse. Pair of great matches thus far. I didn't write any, so hopefully the average match quality won't go down. What's next? A segment. Druid, Tombstone. It's titled Far Worse Than Death 1. Tombstone has done it. He's made it to the final of Ring King. But that doesn't mean a fucking thing to him right now. He gets back to his feet. He's looking down at Druid, who stirs. We had a plan, he reveals, looming over his fallen foe. Druid shakes his head, crawling towards the ropes. There's always a plan, he scoffs. You've stabbed me. You've strangled me. You've burned me a fucking alive. What's next, big dog? I love Druid's sarcasm. He pulls himself up using the ropes. When are you going to get your head around it? I can't fucking die. Do you think I want this? Do you know how it feels to take your last breath and feel like it's over, only to come hurtling back like a fucking freight train? The ferryman shakes his head. Igor believed that by killing you in a variety of ways we could unlock this curse. That's why I've done what I've done, Druid. This causes the audience to groan with discontent. The explorer can't believe it, shaking his head. You've been brutally killing me? As if you're ticking off deaths on a bingo card? Beautiful line. He roars back at him in fury. You right, Tombstone says, lowering his head. There's no end to your curse. Nothing we've done has fixed you. He approaches slowly, but after what you did to Igor, there's no turning back. The hands of time. For that you will suffer a fate far worse than death. The Goozle! The ferryman squeezes the throat of Druid, causing him to panic and gasp for air. He squeezes it tightly, pushing him back into the corner before violently snapping his neck. And as his body falls, Tombstone scoops him up off the canvas. I'm no longer the ferryman, but for the last time I will send you on your way. Badass line. Badass line. Fouls. Fouls. Oi. I knew it. I heard it, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit. Not one bit. All right. Here we go. Druid has been killed once more. We know he's going to come back from it, or that he can come back from it. I guess we're going to see what old Tombstone's got planned here. All right, what's up next? We've got a title match up next. The Double Feature Championship. Luther Grimm defends against Gemini. Pestilence personified is in the crosshairs of the hunter tonight. Grimm has been watching her, tracking and hunting her down at the instruct of Armin Fidel. Now Grimm stands between Nurgle and Arcadia. Can the Double Feature Champion hunt down Pestilence herself? As we call it Saturday. The bell sounding sets Grimm off across the ring, and he's got Gemini in his sights before she even has time to react. Bloodsport! The bro kick catches her right in the face, sends her flying into the turnbuckle behind her. Luther follows up by climbing the first turnbuckle. He unloads a vicious array of fists. Right after right after right fist pummels Gemini. The Double Feature Champion is wasting zero time tonight. Gemini pushes him off her, taking a moment to breathe before Grimm comes charging back at her. Discus Lariat knocks a torrent of bugs right out of Gemini's mouth. They buzz from him before falling dead to the canvas. That's cool. When Grimm turns back to Nurgle, she's gone. Slipping out of the ring, the Void looks hardly worse for wear. She beckons Grimm outside, and he obliges, stepping onto the ring apron and leaping off at her. Yin! Gemini caught Grimm with the code breaker. He played right into her hands. She scoops up her foe with a smirk. She grabs him by the head and lines up the ring steps as her destination. Boom! Gemini unleashes a brutal DDT, and Grimm's head slams into the steel with a deafening crash. She draws a deep breath as Grimm rolls onto his back at ringside, shaking violently. Nurgle's eyes roll into the back of her head. When she opens them again, she opens her mouth and spews a torrent of insects at Grimm. The fall of man aiming directly at his mouth. She's trying to infect him, but Grimm brings his hands up over his face. He buries his face into the mat and waits out the storm, or the swarm. Eventually, the swarm of insects dissipates, flying back into Gemini's mouth. Grimm staggers away as the eyes roll back into their head again. She blinks them open and Grimm's already back in the ring. She follows him inside, but the hunter is waiting. He scoops her up easily. The falling powerbomb trophy hunt. It sends a message. He hit her with enough force to nearly send her through the mat. Grimm backs away across the ring, but readies himself in a war stance. His eyes are trained on his prize. He watches as Gemini struggles to a vertical base. Then he charges. The spear! The great pursuit! No! Gemini leaps over it, jumps up onto the ropes. Unleashed! Springboard! Tornado! DDT! Luther Grimm is turned inside out, upside down and planted into the middle of the ring as Gemini covers for the pinfall. 1, 2. Do we have a new champion? No! Kick out just before 3. Gemini is quick to her feet. She pulls Grimm to his. The hunter's groggy, but aware enough to block an incoming left strike. A second, parrying her right fist, leaves her undefensed. Headbutt. Luther Grimm's skull smashes into Gemini's. She's staggered, but she does not fall. Grimm approaches once more. He's got her with both hands. The drop. Toe hold. Gemini drops Grimm out of desperation, but Nurgle's choking. She reaches up to her mouth. What's she doing? She's got an apple. Grimm, by now, is staggering to his feet. Nurgle grabs him by the head. She takes the poisoned apple and forces it toward his mouth. As she does so, her swarm approaches, darting around Grimm. Gemini slams the apple into Grimm's mouth. The insects swarm him as she climbs up to the turnbuckle. Nurgle's plague. She drives Luther Grimm to the canvas with her knees. She killed him with fire. The insects feast on the apple in his mouth, even as the pinfall is counted. 1, 2, and 3. Pestilence wins here tonight and is your new double feature champion. Luther hunted her down, but she always seemed to be one step ahead. Now she's got the double feature championship, and she seems to be unstoppable. What this means for Arcadia? It cannot be good. Your winner and new double feature champion, Gemini. LOL, Laner wins. Hell of a match there, man. I don't know. I didn't see who wrote that one, but great job. Great job. All right. Hayden, the great match. Nice one. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Nothing more classic than Hayden writing a me winning match. And here we go. We have got a segment with Armin Fidel and the Burned Man, entitled Free. We're in the Eden Den, and the scene opens upon the entrance of the cesspool we know as Eden. The devilish owner, Armin Fidel, smokes a cigar as he approaches the door, taking a puff before moving inside only to stop in the doorway, the cigar dropping from his mouth. We finally look past him at the interior of his club, and it is a disaster. Many patrons are strewn unconscious across the main floor. A slew of broken glass and demolished furniture now decorates the club. However, the most egregious thing Fidel spots is the door to the back room smashed wide open. He rushes over to inspect it, stopping dead in his tracks as he gets to the doorway. No. He speaks out in disbelief, a twinge of rage in his voice. That pathetic fucking excuse of a hero. Armin kicks in the wood remains of the door, revealing to us the interior. Many of the back rooms have had their doors broken off the hinges, and with them a chunk of his ill-gotten workers have fled the scene. You know, I was willing to work with you, but then you tried to go back on our deal. The raspy voice of the burned man calls out to Fidel. The Duke turns around and he finds himself staring down his former employee. The burned man stands in the entrance, the kingdom blade in hand. Guess nothing about our deal said I wouldn't break out. Wasn't in the fine print. I'll kill you, Those toys were worth their weight in credits. Toys? Maxwell simply chuckles. Yeah, the people I freed, they're long gone. Tell you what, though, if you want me, come and get me. I'll see you in the ring, Fidel. Armin rushes towards the burned man, but the sole survivor slams the door to the Eden Club behind him as he absconds from the mess he's made. I love the word abscond. Fidel kicks the door wide open. By the time he gets outside, the burned man is long gone, and we cut away. Man, Armin Fidel, first of all, is a very shitty person. But he's just getting done every which way. Every which way. He's lost his employees, his slaves, I guess you could call them. All right. What is next? There it is, Brino. That would be amazing if somebody was somehow able to write a good insurance agent character. Like the role plays could be about insurance claims that they had to deny. That's kind of what... It's kind of like slightly different than what Damian Wolf did, I think. I love the insurance agent idea. I couldn't write it, but somebody could make some success with that. What's next? Well, look at this. Another title match. The VHS champion Narcissa Balenciaga defends against Colt Ramsey, Jinx, and Tech. Here we go. 4 competitors brought together by strange happenings now collide with the VHS championship on the line. Narcissa, or Colt rather, seems focused on Narcissa at the start. Jinx goes after Tech. Colt and Narcissa exchange strikes until the designer takes the journo to the ropes, eventually sending both competitors to the outside, while Tech sends Jinx to the canvas with an arm drag. Colt and Narcissa are already back on their feet as they go at each other with lefts and rights, but Narcissa catches the journo off guard before sending him back into the ring post with a thud. Back in the ring, Tech goes on the offensive for just a moment before Jinx is able to counter into an armbar attempt into one of her own. Tech's power comes into play, though. The automaton gets to a vertical base. He even lifts the Fatal Error up for a modified powerbomb, driving her into the canvas to break the hold. Narcissa pays no mind to what's happening in the ring, as she remains focused on causing damage to Ramsey, stomping at the reporter's head as he slowly gets back to his feet. Finally shoving the designer away in the process. But that act is met with a spinning heel kick that knocks him out. High fashion! But while all this is taking place, Tech's got a cover on Jinx. It gets a 1, but a kick out. Narcissa breaks it up immediately. She's saving the match for herself. She unleashes a flurry of kicks on the automaton, ending with a super kick. But the fat no! Tech dodges that super kick. He hoists the designer up. Back suplex! Colt's slow to his feet on the outside as Jinx starts pulling at the leg of Tech inside the ring, only for the automaton to focus its attention on the Fatal Error. Except this proves to be an error all its own. As Narcissa is back up, she catches Tech with a drop kick to send it towards the ropes. Colt slides back into the ring to get some revenge on the designer, who turns her attention to the arriving Giorno as Jinx goes after Tech. Only she's not attacking him, not directly. Instead, she presses against the button she set up on him some time ago, that faint green light turning yellow and blinking rapidly. Colt sends Narcissa to the ropes, looking for a clothesline that never comes as he's sent flying by Tech instead. Jinx's hack of the automaton has led to the dissolution of the alliance between it and the Journo, as Tech lays into Ramsey, and now it's Jinx going after Narcissa. It seems the promise of gold has dissolved this alliance as well, as Jinx sends the designer into the corner with a drop kick, only for Narcissa to narrowly avoid a corner splash from the Fatal Error. Narcissa takes advantage. She goes for the necktie choke on Jinx. Made. 2. No! The fight between Colt and Tech has sent them hurtling towards the designer, which gives Jinx a chance to escape the hold and the ring. Narcissa gets to her feet, takes a massive super kick by Tech. Decisive. Evidence. Down goes the designer. But Colt, he catches the automaton with a swinging reverse DDT. That's a wrap. The button controlling tech seems to get disabled because of the impact. But in comes Jinx, absolutely rattling Ramsey with the discus elbow. DDoS! Cold is sent reeling towards the ropes. As Narcissa gets back to her feet, just as Jinx lunges at Narcissa for the Kinshasa. STS, no! Narcissa dodges the knee strike, takes a page out of Ramsey's book. Full Nelson, leg sweep, facebuster. Fit to Prince, the latest trend. Narcissa covers Jinx. 1, 2, and 3. After everything that went down, Narcissa Balenciaga comes away with the victory in hand and retains the VHS championship. Big victory, retention for the VHS champion. Good match for whoever wrote that. Alex wrote it. Nice. All right. Let's keep on a cooking. Ooh. We've got a segment. El Mariachi Muerte, entitled Runaway. We're some time ago in, I wrote this and came up with it, or Dean came up with it whenever we were coming up with the name, and I don't know how to say it. Anthesteria, that's what I'm going to go with. We're some time ago in Anthesteria. This level of Arcadia is home to the mariachi, defying the norms of reality with its ethereal beauty and surreal ambiance. Here, every day is like the Day of the Dead. Its streets are cobblestoned labyrinths adorned with intricate sugar skulls, effigies, and countless marigolds whose scent perfumes the air. Buildings in shades of deep purples, fiery reds, and radiant oranges stand tall, adorned with murals depicting various stages of life and death. Every corner seems to pulse with vibrant energy as candles flicker atop altars dedicated to lost loved ones, casting an otherworldly glow that contrasts the darkness surrounding them. The sounds of guitars, trumpets, and soulful singing permeate the air, but amidst it all we find two people. A young man and woman standing secluded in a dim-lit alley. In opposition to the song around them, these two stand in heavy silence. Dressed in a black suit adorned with intricate embroidery, the man exudes an aura of impending doom. Beside him, the woman's attire is a striking contrast, vibrant colors. Radiant as a garden in full bloom, she embodies life itself, yet her eyes mirror his. "We can't do this," she says softly, her voice quivering as she clings to his arm. He looks at her, captivated by the sincerity in her eyes, and sighs deeply. "This is what we've lived our entire lives for. What we were trained to do. You know the laws that bind the mariachi. I can't easily turn my back on them, on our people. Are we not also bound by the love that ties us?" she implores, pulling away and circling him, as if trying to find an angle where he'll see reason. "Run away with me. Let us be free of the shackles they wish to place upon us. Our love doesn't have to be a whisper in the dark." He seems to falter, his stance weakening, but then he tightens his grip on the guitar case hanging beside him. "If we run, another will become the mariachi of death instead of me, and then they'll come for us. Is that the life you wish to live? Always running, always hiding?" "I'd rather be an enemy to the world than an enemy to my own heart," she replies, her eyes moistening. "We can live our own truths. Do you not see the darkness that awaits you as El Mariachi Muerte? Do you not fear the loneliness?" He looks at her longingly, her words piercing through his armor. But even as he wavers, the distant toll of a bell resounds through Anthesteria. "Our time is running out," he says, regret in his words. "What if it already has?" she murmurs, stepping back, creating a chasm filled with their unspoken fears and dreams. Their choice is made. The couple, soon to be avatars of life and death, separate for the last time. The gulf between them is large as that between their two names, or their new names. There we go. Flashback segment. El Mariachi Muerte, right before he became El Mariachi Muerte, and his lover, as we've seen kind of revealed as time has went on, the person who would become La Mariachi Vita, the avatar of death, or life, not death. So, a little bit of backstory on El Mariachi Muerte. El Mariachi Alive. There we go. We've got a match. The Burn Man and Armin Fidel. The Burn Man, he's already in the ring, but Armin Fidel rushes down the ramp in a fit of rage. We saw earlier why. Vidal slides into the ring and shoulder charges the Burn Man. The sole survivor slams back into the corner and puts up his arms to defend himself from the barrage of lefts and rights flying from an enraged Armin Fidel. He fires away with a hellacious forearm before whipping the Burn Man into the ropes and piercing him with the arrow of greed and desire, the gore. The Duke slams his fist down on Burn Man over and over, but the Mummy is fighting for his life. He takes blow after blow to the face. Fidel gets off of him, just to beg him to get on his feet. The Burn Man slowly begins to rise. Another arrow of greed and desire, but no! Gauntlet-clad fist to the face. Blood arcs from Armin's busted nose. The Burn Man had the Kingdom Blade shrunk down in his hand. He transforms it back and stows it away before taking the fight to Fidel. Armin is forced to his feet before being dropped by a double underhook DDT, but Burn Man rolls through and tries to lift him for the Tiger Bomb. But he's not strong enough to force Fidel up. The sole survivor pushes the Duke away, nails the backdraft, spinning elbow to the jaw. Fidel drops like a ton of bricks. Burn Man into the pin. He gets a 1. He gets a 2, but Fidel gets the shoulder up. Armin refuses to stay down as he struggles to his feet. He blocks a haymaker from the Burn Man, gives him a headbutt in return. He tees off with a flurry of right hands that knocks Burn Man back before grabbing him and laying thee down. The Spinebuster shakes the goddamn ring. Fidel holds on to the Burn Man, forces him over onto his stomach as he locks in a Boston Crab. He forces all the pressure he can onto Burn Man's back as he sits down and locks the hold in tight. The Mummy reaches out, but the ropes are out of reach. He tries to drag himself towards them, but Fidel walks him effortlessly into the center of the ring. There ain't nowhere to go. He tries to force Fidel off of himself. He wants to break the hold. He's just not strong enough. The Burn Man is fading. The ref grabs his hand and he holds it up. It drops once. Maxwell may be out. It drops twice. Is this the end? He holds it up. He drops it. No! The Burn Man, he slams his fist into the ground. He fights with all of his might. He summons up all of his strength. He flings Fidel off of himself. The crowd goes absolutely wild as Burn Man forces himself to his feet. He leaps onto Fidel, slams him hard to the ground with a German suplex. He rolls through for another, then another. The hat trick. Fidel is left reeling as he tries to stand up, only to catch a basement drop kick to the back of the skull that keeps him grounded. Burn Man moves to the top rope, takes flight, fire from the gods. Diving elbow drop to the chest of Fidel. Both men are down with neither showing signs of life. The Burn Man seems to be the first to roll to his feet. Fidel uses the ropes to pull himself up. The Duke of Desire turns around. He rushes in, right into a big boot. Fidel slams the ground. Burn Man forces him up with all of his might. The third degree. Pump handle slam into the Death Valley driver. Fidel is planted into the mat, and Burn Man covers. 1, 2, 3. The Burn Man wrecked the Eden Club, and now he's just taken down its owner in heroic fashion. All right. Great match. Great to see the Burn Man do what he did to Armin Fidel. Great work, Dawes, on the match. All right. What do we got cooking up next? We got a segment. A segment with Blacktooth and Drexel, titled Reneg. The action has been wild tonight, but backstage, a different type of spectacle is unfolding. Flanked by 5 armed thugs, Drexel leans against the wall, a cigar in his mouth, exhaling a cloud of smoke as the Blood Runners walk in, Blacktooth at the helm. The tension is thicker than the smoke coming out of the Shark's cigar. I didn't know we were having a party, Blacktooth sneers as he walks in. One of us is, Drexel retorts, flicking ash from his cigar. What'd you find out about my bitches? Seems like you're missing meat. Ain't much of a problem at all, Blacktooth snarls. They're all tucked away safe and sound in one of your safe houses. Drexel smirks, taking another puff from his cigar. Ah, so you do have eyes in good places. I'm impressed. Blacktooth holds his arm out as if to restrain his followers. The tension just ramped up. Why the charade? Sussing out rats in your ranks or making me run around like your errand boy? Both. Had to see how capable your blood runners are. Now that I'm consolidating my power, I needed to know how high you could jump. Drexel is such an asshole. Blacktooth clenches his fists. You lying sack of shit. Blacktooth's men look ready to leap, blades subtly revealed beneath their jacket. Drexel's men move their trigger finger off the guard, eyes darting between their boss and the volatile cannibal. Look, Drexel interrupts, we can settle this. One-on-one, we head out to the ring and you can try your worst. I'll even let you cash in that favor I owe you. See, I won't kill you tonight. I'll just fuck you up real good. And if I refuse, the Necropolis ain't the only level getting blasted. Trust me, neither of us wants that kind of attention. Blacktooth contemplates, his gaze cutting through the smoky air to meet Drexel's eyes. Fine, it's your funeral. Drexel tosses the cigar aside, cracking his knuckles. See you out there. Blacktooth steps forward, putting out the cigar with his boot. The pair stand like that for a moment before Toothrot shows off just that, with a grin. The blood runners back away. Because Blacktooth has to get to the ring. Because that match is next. So Drexel, all of his supposed missing ladies, it was all a ruse to see what the hell was going on with the blood runners and if he could manipulate them. What a shark. Bloodtooth it is. Yes, Drexel's just sizing up the competition. Let's see that match. Let's see these boys go at it. Will the cannibal have his next meal, or will the shark take a bite? Let's find out. The bell rings, and Blacktooth is hot out of the gates. He's sprinting at Drexel. He's throwing wild rights. Drexel's backing towards the ropes. Right strike after right strike. Drexel gets underhooks and smiles at the crowd. Belly-to-belly suplex over the ropes and out to the floor. Wild. Hard landing for Blacktooth. Drexel rolls out of the ring. He pulls Blacktooth up and goes for a vertical suplex, but no. Blacktooth with some quick punches to the gut to block it. Blacktooth counters with a snap suplex into the barricade. Drexel's rocked and Blacktooth grabs him by the hair. He starts smashing the back of Drexel's head into the barricade. Blacktooth gets up, steps backwards, and he charges into the spear. But no, Drexel dodges it in the last second. Blacktooth crashes into the barricade. He's writhing in agony on those steel bars. The hippie flip. Drexel nails the running senton and crushes Blacktooth. Both men are on the floor, and Drexel gets up first. He pulls up Blacktooth and rolls him into the ring. Drexel follows him in there and makes the cover. 1, 2, no 3. Blacktooth gets the shoulder up. Drexel nods like he should have known, and he drags Blacktooth to the corner. He grabs Blacktooth's hair. Is he making a braid around the ring ropes? Okay. It looks like Drexel's days of pretend have paid off, as Blacktooth is trapped in the corner. Drexel goes to the other corner. Goes to the top rope. Coast to motherfucking coast. But no! Blacktooth uses a blade he had on him to cut his hair, and he moves out of the way. A rare mistake from Drexel as he crashes and burns. Blacktooth pulls himself up and jumps on top of Drexel, capitalizing on the mistake. He's raining down furious ground elbows to make Drexel regret his decision even more. Drexel is cut the hard way. Blacktooth is grinning ear to ear with the sight of blood, and he starts heading to the top rope. He gets there and he dives. Blood rain! He nails all of that foot stomp. That's one way to tenderize your meal. He covers. 1, 2, no! Drexel gets a foot on the ropes. This match is moving on. Drexel starts untying the top turnbuckle pad, or the bottom turnbuckle pad. You don't see that every day. He drags Drexel, puts his face directly under it. He grabs the legs to do the catapult to the exposed turnbuckle. Catapult, no! Drexel blocks it by wrapping his legs around Blacktooth's legs. He pivots his hips and reverses it. Drop, toe, hold into the exposed turnbuckle. Both men are down and busted open. This has got to end soon. They're using each other to get up. Drexel realizes this first. He drapes his arm over Blacktooth's head, drops him with the DDT. Drexel is feeling the excitement in the air. He climbs the top rope and jumps. Straight shooter, the diving headbutt. No! Iron perfume. Blacktooth got all of that blood mist and a falling Drexel's eyes. It messes up the jump, and Drexel crashes hard in the ring. Blacktooth gets up and yanks Drexel up by the hair. He slaps Drexel again and again to embarrass him. Drexel grabs him by the wrist. He shakes his head no. He's got wrist control. He pulls Blacktooth in. Knee to the gut. He's got the wrist still. Pulled. Knee to the gut. Another. IOU. He nails the super kick and makes the cover. And gets a 1. Gets a 2. And 3. Drexel has done it. And the shark shows why he's the apex predator here. Great match, Rob. Great writing of the match, Rob. Great winning of the match, Rob. Oh. Match, you got to put second Powerade gets opened as a bingo spot. Yeah, great work on all the matches here tonight. I've been really impressed. Creative, I've been really impressed by the segments. I think this show is firing tonight. What's up next? We're going to find out what Doom's men wanted to do to Scissors. All right. In a segment entitled Water Rusts Scissors. Kicking and screaming. Scissors may have been captured by Doom's men after their match, but that doesn't stop him kicking and screaming as he's being dragged through the Doom factory. The henchmen pull him forcibly up the stairs towards the very platform that Scissors himself attempted to kill Doom. The man in question awaits their arrival. Oh, the memories, Scissors remarks with a childish giggle. Do you remember that great day we spent up here? Of course you don't. You were unconscious. Silly me. Even Doom chuckles at that one. When I made the Odyssey pool, I had nefarious intentions, he admits, folding his arms. I said that I wanted to bring out your dominant personality, but truthfully, I wanted to experiment on someone expendable. You say the nicest things, Pookie, Scissors retorts. Doom looks over the edge into the bubbling green vat below. It turns out that it does work if you survive it. I survived it. I'm not sure you know what kind of fortitude it takes to do that. He nods at his men, who suddenly begin wrapping him with solid steel chains. They're wrapped tightly around his arms, trapping him in a straitjacket of steel. What are you doing, you kinky little man? Scissors chuckles. I just want to be friends. I'm not into any of these games. Toss him in, Doom demands. The henchmen pick him up and lean him over the edge, preparing to toss him into the vat below. Before they do, the red light begs of their attention. Wait, he pleads desperately. Before I go, does anyone know what water does to Scissors? Rock, paper, scissors, water? It just doesn't work, does it? Doom leans in face to face. Water rusts Scissors, he says sternly. And believe me, you'll be in there long enough to rust. Swoosh! Splash! Scissors is tossed over the balcony. He sinks straight to the bottom of the Odyssey pool. Doom looks at his men and back over the edge. Fetch me the 1, he demands of his men. Who's he talking about? And we cut away. Scissors has been thrown into the Odyssey pool. Who is the 1? Who is the 1 here? Well, I guess we're going to have to wait to find out. It's got to be Neo. Matt's right. Got to be Neo. Who's the 1? What's up next? A match. Grimskull versus Vision. Could be Mama Foley. It could be. But he's already had his way with her. Well, that sounded a lot worse than it was meant. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. All right. 2 old friends turned mortal enemies will concoct dueling sermons tonight as they prepare to write the next chapter in the book of their epic rivalry. Good luck to you, Hayden. As we go around and round this circle. The bell rings, and after a brief but tense stare down, the 2 competitors tie up collar and elbow. Grimskull latches on a side headlock and he cranks it in. Vision calmly fills out Grimskull, creating a mental map of his opponent, to which he will use as the basis of his game plan the rest of the match. Then Grimskull knees Vision in the gut, catching him off guard and doubling him over, before releasing the headlock and pulling Vision's arm back, twisting him into an abdominal stretch. But not so fast. Vision saw it coming, did he? Deftly spinning out while keeping hold of Grimskull's arm. He brings the arm behind Grimskull, locking it into place, and latches Grimskull's other arm behind him, as well as into a double chicken wing, and throws Grimskull backwards. Tiger suplex. Its force knocked Grimskull's head right off his shoulders. Grimskull's heads rolls off the apron to the outside, his eyes darting left and right, up and down, trying to get a visual of his body inside the ring, which is slowly getting to its feet, feeling around as if he were blind. Vision unleashes a wicked cackle as he stands beside Grimskull's body. How does it feel to be blind, Grimskull? He quips as Grimskull's body awkwardly reaches out and moves around the ring. Vision begins peppering Grimskull's body with jabs, chops, and kicks, and with Grimskull's face grimacing and groaning, showing that he feels every bit of the pain. Strikes, punches, kicks, and elbows, followed by a massive forearm to the chest. Blind fury is being unleashed upon Grimskull. Vision latches onto Grimskull's wobbly body from behind. He sweeps him backwards. A Russian leg sweep. Grimskull can't see that a smiling Vision has hooked the leg, but he hears the ref slap the mat. 1, 2, no! Grimskull's every limb flails around to get the shoulder up. This is a cool concept of this match. As Grimskull's body slowly and uncoordinatedly gets its legs underneath itself, Vision laughs as he blindly springboards backwards off the middle rope, which just so happens to be looming over Grimskull's head on the outside. Eyes in the back of your head. The springboard coffin drop hits nothing but canvas. Grimskull caught it out of the corner of his eye, and using Vision's body as some sort of compass. Grimskull's body feels around. He finds the right direction towards the ropes. He sees his own body reach the ropes. Grimskull directs his body to climb through the ropes, but Vision has a hold of Grimskull's foot. Vision grabs Grimskull by the leg off the ropes. Enziguri! Vision releases his grasp on the leg. He crumbles to the mat, and Grimskull dives out of the ring in desperation. Grimskull has his head back. Head and body have reunited, and it feels so good. Grimskull slides back into the ring, holding his spiked skull like a mannequin head, albeit with the sinister grin on its face. He stands menacingly behind Vision, who's getting to his feet, and he pulls the crowd. What does everybody want? To which the rabid Arcadians in attendance shout in response, Head! Headbanger between Vision's eyes drops him to the mat. Vision's been busted wide open, a bloody third eye bearing its mark now on his forehead, and it's shedding red tears as Grimskull winds up again. What does everybody need? Head! A second headbanger to Vision. Vision is down, and Grimskull is just straight up bashing his own skull all over Vision's body again and again, as Grimskull screams, What does everybody love? There's nothing the ref can even do about it, because technically, it's Grimskull's own body part that he's hitting him with. And so he simply watches on in horror, wincing every time Vision is hit until Grimskull plops his skull into place on his neck, standing above his bloodied and battered opponent. He bows his head and places his hands in the prayer position, taunting Vision, and Grimskull's followers chant his name as he ascends to the top rope, where he puts his arms out wide. He leaps, the prayer, and the diving headbutt hits flush. But Vision wasn't the only one who's suffering in pain, and Grimskull can only manage to throw a single arm over Vision's chest. We get a 1, we get a 2, 3, no! Vision got a shoulder up. Grimskull parks himself in the corner waiting, demanding that Vision gets to his feet. The preacher already got his revenge on his old friend tonight. But now, as the Crimson Vision slowly rises and turns, Grimskull wants to teach him a lesson. But no, Vision ducked the super kick. Vision drills him with a vicious back elbow to the head. The Iron Strike. It dazes Grimskull. Vision leaps at him. Third eye blinded. The double knee fist facebuster. He covers with a bloody smile. 1, 2, kick out, Grimmy. Don't lose your head. No, he loses. The 3 count. Vision has defeated Grimskull here tonight. The winner writes history, as Vision will be the man to put his spin on the victory tonight. Good work, Hayden. I'm sure we'll do it again sometime. I would probably agree with Dean on this. I don't think the Al Snow shtick really works for one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Fun spot to read. Perhaps nothing we should see again. All right. Let's move forward here. We've got Narcissa and Colt Ramsey. The hunt begins. Before, we need to talk. We're inside the office of the People's Voice. Colt Ramsey has been confronted by his one-time fling of sorts, and Narcissa Balenciaga, who takes a seat across from the Giorno. For quite some time, these hunters have been on the prowl, their desire growing more and more fervent to collect the finest trophies imaginable, always seeking the great hunt. Narcissa motions to the picture still in Colt's hand, a frown on her face as she continues. And that young man, he turned out to be their trophy. Okay. On this occasion, I've been trying to figure out why. If you recall, she gave a picture that was found of some hunters with a young man in the center who apparently was their trophy. But what does this guy have to do with you? Why is he any of your business? He's not, replies the designer with a sigh. But that young man is someone else's business. Jinx's. He's her brother, and those hunters murdered him. And their leader was Luther Grimm. Jinx has been looking for clues as to what happened ever since. Okay. Okay. There we go. That's a big reveal. So Jinx's brother was killed by those hunters, and Luther Grimm was the leader. That's why she's coming after Luther Grimm. There it is. And that's why she agreed to help you out. But what's Technodrome got to do with this? Narcissa can't help but chuckle at the remark, shaking her head at his incompetence before responding. I'm surprised you, the reporter, haven't pierced that one together yet. Fine, I'll tell you. The automaton has been a very helpful tool in getting me the information I need. I haven't found it yet, but I suspect there's evidence that links Grimm up with Zeus himself. So I have a feeling this great hunt has something to do with it. Now, find herself backstage, where Colt has been trying to get underneath Tech's chassis just long enough to remove the source of its misery, finally removing the broken button and tossing it to the ground. There we go, bud. All fixed up, remarks the journo with a smirk. Hopefully that's put an end to that mess. Tech gives a slow mechanical nod as Ramsey extends a hand, an act that Tech slowly understands to accept as it shakes hands on a case seemingly closed. There we go. Tech is no longer under the sway of Jinx. Okay. Very good way to tie that up. Give us some reveals. I like that. So Luther Grimm led the hunters that killed Jinx's brother. And they may be tied to Zeus. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Cool. Oh, look at this. We've got a match. Jackson Cade versus Harold Atano. This should be a good one. What would you do for family? What would you do to find peace? Two very different men forced together to find answers, but will their debts to others turn those answers into unsolvable mysteries? Or can Perseus remain a man true to his word, save his brother, C.J. Thorpe from Death Row, and give nobody a little peace of mind in the process? Let's find out. The bell sounds as both men just stare one another down, not moving for a moment before Jackson is the first to walk forward, not attacking but outstretching his hand to Atano, who just stares it down. Cade nods, keeping his hand extended as Atano considers it for a moment before reaching forward and clasping his hand. And then he pulls Cade in, rocking him with a headbutt. What'd you expect, Jackson? Atano starting out dirty here as he pummels Perseus with lefts and rights. sending him staggered back into the ropes before he whips him across the ring. Trying for a clothesline that Cage manages to duck underneath before bouncing off the ropes with the breach and clear sling blade. Atano stumbles to his feet into a second and third sling blade. Cade backing up after the third. He looks for the killing blow already. Atano sees the super kick coming. He rolls out of the ring in harm's way to try to gain his bearings. Atano staggers away, holding onto the nearby speaker for balance as Cade sizes him up for a moment. He runs forward, suicide spear, into the speaker wall. Atano suckered him in. Cade's skull drives hard into the thick metal. A low reverb echoing out into the arena as Jackson may well have knocked himself out cold there. Atano isn't helping matters. He pulls Cade up, tosses him headfirst back into the metal speaker. Cade's head bounces like a ball against the speaker, opening up a cut that's slight at first, but not after Atano slams his skull into it over and over again. That small cut turning into a river of blood, as Jackson Cade is a bloodied and broken mess thanks to Mr. Nobody, who mercifully pulls him up from the unforgiving concrete floor and throws him back into the ring. Cade slowly and barely gets to his feet as Atano rolls into the ring, rushing forward. Headshot! Brutal super kick spins blood flying through the air. That's gotta be it. Cade drops like a rock as Atano covers with a lateral press. 1, 2, and no 3. There's fight left in Jackson Cade. He gets his shoulder up. Atano looks impressed. Then he peels him up off the mat. A hard knee to the jaw, rocking Perseus before he rushes to the ropes. He's going for another headshot. Incendiary round. The bullhammer elbow out of nowhere knocks Atano for a loop. An almost instinctual counter by Cade as both men collapse to the mat. Atano is up to his feet first, trying for a hard right that Cade ducks underneath, unleashing a torrent of blows onto the unsuspecting Atano before another incendiary round leaves him out on his feet. Before he's lifted high into the air. The Master Key. Brainbuster spikes Atano onto the mat. Cade can't quickly follow up. The blood loss drops him down to one knee. Cade wipes the blood from his eyes, finding the strength to rise to his feet before slowly climbing up the ropes to the top, looking to make that foul cry. But Atano is already rising to his feet. Cade diving off anyway. The cross body. No! Atano sees the flying Perseus just in time, dodging out of the way. As Cade splatters against the mat, he slowly rises up to his feet. Atano's rushing in. The kneecap! Brutal shotgun drop kick to the knee, nearly breaks bone upon impact as Cade cries out in pain, before Atano leaps up, locking in a guillotine chokehold. Cade's still bleeding profusely. Atano's choking all the wind out of his lungs as he pulls him down to the mat, trying to transition into that bulldog choke. But Cade doesn't let himself fall. He rises to his feet in a roar of defiance as Atano tries to pull him down with all his strength, but a sit-out powerbomb breaks the hold. That could be all she wrote for Cade as he collapses. They struggle up slowly. Cade wipes the blood from his eyes. Atano smirks, motioning Cade forward before they both sprint forward. Left from Atano, right from Cade. A sharp headbutt staggers Cade back before he nearly takes Atano's head off with a brutal lariat. Atano slowly rises to his feet. Cade rushes forward, but Atano ducks underneath the super kick, leaping up as Cade turns around. Venom! The scorpion kick rocks Cade, dropping him down to his knees as Atano draws one finger across his throat, looking for the killing blow as he rushes to the ropes. He rebounds behind Cade and silences Perseus with the hidden blade. That's gotta be it, as Cade collapses to the mat in a pool of his own blood. Atano turns over the dead weight. He hooks the leg. The ref slides in. 1, 2, 3. Mr. Nobody picks up the victory over Jackson Cade here tonight, using his fighting experience and a weakened Perseus to his advantage. But will he get the peace he seeks, or will his daughter's demise still be a mystery? Your winner, Harold Atano. Congratulations. Very, very fun match with these guys. Very fun match. All right. Yeah, the matches have been killing it. Matches have been killing it. All right, let's see. Well, hey, all my stats are looking good. Go team. All right, let's see. Let's move forward here. What do we got? We got a segment with Grimskull and Vision entitled D. Now, I know that these segments have been spelling something out, but I actually forgot what the first letter is. It's something I and D. So I guess maybe I should know that. All right, let's see. The slums look different since the last time we were here. Grimskull has traveled here after his match with Vision earlier tonight, and he looks battle-worn. But not as battle-worn as his home turf. There are some of his people milling around, but the swaths that usually flock to him are nowhere to be seen. I don't like where this is going. Grimskull looks concerned, and he continues into the area surrounding his ramshackle stage. His people look haggard, more so than ever before. But even worse than that, they look beaten, like they're finished with life. They can barely look Grimskull in the eye, aside from one who walks up to him. "My child," begins Grimskull. "Don't you dare," responds the resident, his eyes cold. "You promised us the world, but we have nothing. We're even more destitute now than we were before you arrived. And you still don't tell us why. It will all become clear soon, I promise. All of this will be worth it." The man sighs at Grimskull's words. "Unfortunately, your promises aren't worth the paper they're written on anymore. You'd better find a way to fix this, and soon, or you might find yourself the preacher with nobody left to preach to." The man walks away, leaving Grimskull looking more somber than ever. "Protocol V can't complete soon enough," he mutters to himself as he retreats too. The people are turning on the preacher. Okay. Well, it makes sense. You keep promising something with no return. People may want a return. All right. Interesting. Oh, here we go. Here's a big one. For the OSW World Heavyweight Championship, the champion, Dr. Death, the two-time champion at that, defends against El Mariachi Muerte. Here we go. Good luck to both of you competitors competing for this World Championship. Let's see what is going to happen here. I believe Zach wrote this. A long friendship turned into a deep-seated hatred, morphed into a fight for utter survival. The war between Dr. Death and El Mariachi Muerte has shaped and morphed the world title scene for months now. Will this be the fatal final confrontation or simply the beginning of Act 3? Motherfucking spear nearly cuts right through Dr. Death to start with. There are no sneak attacks this time, just good old-fashioned beatdowns, as Muerte nearly breaks Dr. Death's ribs with a brutal spear, before getting to ground and pound his ass into the mat. Death struggles for a moment, clearly not expecting this immediate attack before reaching up. Double thumbs to the eyes. Mariachi gets blinded, but he backs off quickly as his fingers just scrape the corneas, knowing Death would easily blind him permanently if he let him. Mariachi shakes away the pain, allowing Death to stagger him with a hard knee to the jaw, before leaping off the ropes. Lobotomy, no! Mariachi sees a tornado with DDT attempt coming, slipping out of the hold before grabbing Death around the waist. Whiskey, no! Death gets thrown overhead, but he lands on his feet from the belly to belly. Both men leap into the air. Double drop kick. They cancel each other out. They both land back on their feet. They know each other inside and out by this point. Death nods as a slight smirk crosses Mariachi's face before he nearly takes Death's head off with a massive lariat. Death didn't expect the power game here as he staggers back into a flurry of hard forearms before a pair of double knees to the jaw rock the doctor for a moment as he powers him into the air and nearly plants him through the mat with a stiff power bomb. Mariachi doesn't let go though, lifting Death up once more, delivering a second power bomb and a third before powering him up once more, rushing forward. Before he can deliver the release powerbomb, Death slips out. He goes into a sunset flip. It's a sudden pinfall attempt. 1, 2, but no, Mariachi gets the shoulder up. El Muerte gets to his feet into a sharp headbutt that rocks him before he's lifted up off his feet. Spinal contusion, the brain buster. Two can play at the power game. As Death drops Mariachi right onto his dome, rolling to his feet as he leaps over the apron. Waiting for Muerte to stagger to his feet before leaping off with defibrillation, the mammoth heart punch staggers Muerte as Death leaps off the ropes behind him, prescribing his challenger with some painkillers, Poison Rana style. Muerte staggers back to his feet, eyes glazed over. But he's not vertical for long before a rib-shattering John Woo dropkick sends him flying into the corner. Muerte crashes hard into the steel as Death begins to pummel him with everything he has. Lefts, rights, elbows, forearms, all pummeling Mariachi into the canvas before Death grips both hands and begins to deliver some lethal chest compressions. He barely gets a few kicks in, though, before Mariachi catches one, slowly standing up as Death tries to fight his way out of the inevitable as Mariachi flips him into the air, dropping Death face first, unceremoniously onto the mat. Death staggers up to his feet into a hard headbutt before he's lifted up off his feet. In the end, the pump handle half Nelson spikes Death into the mat. Mariachi doesn't waste time, quickly heading to the top rope as he stares down his fallen foe for a moment, a sneer of disgust crossing his face. As he tosses down the single rose before leaping off. 48 roses? No! Death moves at the last second. Mariachi rolling through on his feet as he rushes into a comatosia. Tornado roundhouse knocks Mariachi for a loop. But he's not done as he lifts the groggy Mariachi up. By appointment, the Destino. Death plants Mariachi into the mat, rolling through for the cover as this match may well be over right here. We get a 1. We get a 2. Will we get a 3? Is this it? No. No, he won't. Mariachi gets the shoulder up. Death looks shocked for a moment, but he just shakes his head, knowing he needs a lot more to put down his greatest rival. He pulls Mariachi up to his feet, planting him into the mat with a second by appointment, but the world champion doesn't cover. Instead, walking over to the corner as he grabs his favorite tool, that solid steel cane. But as Death stands to his feet, the hair on the back of his neck stands up as a slow, beautiful melody begins to float through the air. El Mariachi has the guitar set up. Death turns around, a grin of pure malice on singing Death's face, as he whispers a single word into the strings he plucks. Congelar. A single blue-tinged note floats through the air, hitting the world champion straight in the chest as he stops moving, completely frozen in time by the mystical magic woven into the strings. The Mariachi chuckles to himself, placing his weapon safely down on the mat as he walks towards the helpless prey, simply places his head between his legs. Mariachi slowly places that rose between his teeth, that third world championship in his grasp already, as he prepares for the end. The fade, too, but a backdrop! Death backdrops his way out of the package pile driver. Muerte staggering up confused as Dr. Death just taps his ears, flipping off Muerte before drilling him into the mat with a jaw-crushing super kick. After all, the music can't affect you if it's on mute. But Death doesn't need sound to put his opponent down as he leaps onto the apron, begging for Muerte to get to his feet. As he's looking for that lethal cutter, Mariachi staggers up to his feet as Death springboards upwards. Lethal injection, no! Mariachi ducks. He knows it far too well. Muerte springboards off the ropes. Death rolls right into a malicious and goddamn sonata. Muerte forces Death to listen to his song as raw adrenaline pumps through him. That single strand of guitar string falls into his hands as he slowly stalks a slowly rising Dr. Death, ready to choke out a bitch and regain the world championship. But Dr. Death crashes to the mat. He's completely out of it. Muerte tries to lift him up, to lock in the hold, but Death is completely limp. The ref is about to call for the bell, but Death springs to life. Uppercut to the cojones. Muerte's doubled over in pain. Death wraps him up into a small package. The ref slides in for the count. 1, 2. Will he win with the small package? He will! Dr. Death retains with the small package. He slides out of the ring. Ignore that, he's still in the ring. With the world title. Ignore the sliding out of the ring part. He's about to be in the ring again. Congratulations to our retaining world champion, Dr. Death. Very nice. Yes, he slid into the corner. There it is. All right, great match. Good to see you, Ollie. Congratulations on the 11 months. Man, I did communicate with them. I just left out the they need to be in the ring part. All right, well, let's go on to this segment while we're here. Entitled La Mariachi Vida. The OSW World Championship lays in the ring, its fate no longer hanging in the balance. VIND. Ooh, I bet it's like vindication or something. El Mariachi Muerte and Dr. Death crawl towards each other, their war not finished. Rising to their knees, they exchange blows. Some protector you are, Death accuses. My hands are thick with mariachi blood, yet you put all your efforts into luring me out with one single mariachi, one who was mine to begin with. Where is she? EMM retorts. The Luchador rises to his feet, a chuckle behind his words. She only wanted to protect you. She knew you'd fight to the bitter end to protect the mariachi. EMM also rises to his feet. Where is she? He asks again, steel in his voice. When she reached out to you, you really thought it was because she needed help? Because she was trying to protect the institution she hated? No, she reached out to you for the same reason you came to Olympus in the first place. Where is she? Muerte repeats. Dr. Death pays him no mind. The other mariachi seek to dominate, to impose their will and emotion upon the world around them. But life and death, they're gardeners, preserving that which is worthy and culling that which is not. Diametrically opposed, yet fundamentally linked. Two sides of the same coin, always calling to one another, drawing the other near. EM pauses. He's confused by where Dr. Death is going. She was my first, Dr. Death muses. Through her, I discovered your kind. Saw what they were doing to Arcadia. Tell me that the hardships of my youth could have been countered with one simple song. Yet they only seem to bless the already fortunate. The pair meet in the center of the ring, Muerte's anger cooling into confusion. I asked her to transfer her power to me, to make me the mariachi of life. But she refused, saying the mariachi were benevolent. Death says, sounding wistful, how foolish of me to believe I could kill the mariachi of life. Though I tried, amigo, I tried. Over and over again I honed my namesake, but over and over again she came back, more scarred and deformed each time. Through her I learned how to track and kill mariachi, to rid Arcadia of their benevolence. What have you done? EMM says, starting to understand. You know what I've done. Death says, the smirk somehow visible even through his mask. You just cannot face it. I used her to lure you to Olympus, to bring together the final components I need to rid Arcadia of the mariachi. So now I ask you the same thing she refused to do. He steps back, holding his arms out. Make me the mariachi of death. Give me the power to make this right, or become my slave as your love. Wham! Death falls to his knees, holding his balls. Before Muerte can react, a guitar goes swinging through the air and crashes around the head of Dr. Death. The Luchador hits the mat flush. He is out, and behind him, holding the remains of the guitar, Nurse Frightingale, or should I say, La Mariachi Vida. A moment of silence passes between the mariachi. EMM studies her face. The scars that made her so ugly now revealed as Dr. Death's attempt to snuff her life out. Her life. Life and death stand reunited. She grabs Muerte's hand. There's so much you need to know. They flee the ring, leaving Dr. Death laying in the center of it, as we cut away. Yes, Nurse Frightingale has been a mariachi the whole time. And Act 3 it is. You're right, Zach. The love that wanted the man who would become El Mariachi Muerte to run away with her before they were mariachi is Nurse Frightingale. And I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of how all that came to be in the coming months. Yeah, lots of material for you guys. Lots of it. All right. All right. Let's keep cooking. because there's not much left. But what is left is a segment with Harold Itano and Jackson Cade entitled Who Do You Want to Be? We're at the Arcadia Police Department. Jackson Cade sits at his desk contemplating his decisions. He's been a man possessed when it comes to finding his brother, and the weight of what he's done has been pulling him down. So when Harold Itano sits opposite him, good lord, I can't talk, it's quite the shock. I should have given you answers, Itano admits outright, and Cade shakes his head. I didn't come at you in the right way. He says earnestly, honestly, I've not been myself for some time. I've not been winning matches. I can't get my head around my brother being in death row, and it consuming my every waking moment. Harold thinks about it for a moment. You don't need to worry about your brother, the ex-con finally says with some promise. He's more than capable of looking out for himself. That raises the eyebrow of Cade. What's going on down there? Jackson inquires, leaning in closer. It's not too dissimilar from what's going on up here. They have the inmates on death row wrestling one another, but the stakes are higher. Your brother held his own and had a little trouble down there with a cat named Max Meadows. They had history. Jackson writes that down. Sorry about your daughter, he says, peering up over the pen and paper. Harold looks saddened, taking in a deep sigh. I have her file here. He slowly passes the file across the table. Harold opens it up and begins reading, taking in all the information. His eyes widen as he goes through unraveling the fate that befell his poor daughter. Tell me more about Jasper Redgrave, he barks. Oh, shit. Cade gulps. He's dead, the officer says proudly. His reign of terror is over. Suddenly, the sound of heels clapping against the floor echoes throughout the APD. Both men turn their attention to find Narcissa Balenciaga, her eyes firmly focused on them. Gentlemen, she says confidently, I have a very important question to ask of you. They both tilt their heads. Who do you want to be? Oh, fuck. Now, this is a big-ass segment right here, man. Big-ass segment. The implication is that Jasper Redgrave had something to do with what happened to Harold Itano's daughter. If Jasper Redgrave killed Harold Itano's daughter, then that is a beast feud. Beast. And remember, everybody thinks Redgrave is dead that didn't have anything to do with throwing him in death row. And it looks like they're getting recruited for the uprising. Now that is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, huge, man. Hot damn. Okay. Oh, is this it? Are we here? We're here. We're fucking here. The moment that we've all been waiting for. The reason for the season, the reason why we're here. The Ring King 2023 final. We're going to crown a king. Who will rule over Arcadia? Tombstone? Doom? Who's it fucking going to be? Dean wrote this match. It should be a whopper. All right, here we go. I am super excited for this. It's arguable, but I would say that most people probably wouldn't argue that if you were to say who are the top like contenders, people that win all the time in OSW, it would be real hard to make that list without having these guys on it, and most people probably put one of them at the top. Them and the world champ, you know, and of course Doom is he had been a world champ, so this is perhaps the most loaded final that we've ever seen. Let's go. The bell rings and they begin circling one another. They lock up. They're equal in height, but Tombstone's a bit heavier. He takes Doom into a side headlock and wrenches. Doom runs him off into the ropes. He comes barreling back with a clothesline, but no. The scientist ducks beneath it, spinning quickly with a kick to the back of the knee. Another, and another. The ferryman goes down to one knee. Doom storms back into the ropes. The scrambler, running knee to Tombstone. Doom leaps into the cover. 1, 2, but a kick out. The scientist gets back up, grabbing a leg and going to work. He kicks at it beneath the knee, doing as much damage as he can with every vile stomp. Tombstone writhes in agony. Leg DDT. Slammed with a snap. Straight into the canvas. But Doom holds on. Submission, submission. He twists and bends under the knee, wrenching the ferryman into an agonized seating position. He reaches out. Right, right, right. Doom breaks the hold. They reorganize themselves. Tombstone's got him a hobble. He falls backwards into the ropes as Doom storms across the ring. The gore! Gore, the splitter, straight through the knees of Tombstone and through the middle ropes to the outside. The crowd says, holy shit, holy shit. Both men hit the outside with a thud. Doom is a much different cat. He's vicious, and Tombstone is finding out just how much that's true. He gets him back up and runs him back first into the king sign outside the ring. The ferryman's head bounces off it violently. The doctor grabs him, taking him towards the ring post, slamming him headfirst into that for good measure as well. As Tombstone drops to one knee, Doom backs up. A second scrambler, straight into the back of Tombstone's head, slamming him face first into the fucking ring post. Jesus Christ. The referee has followed him to the outside. They can only watch helplessly as Doom drags a limping Tombstone around the ring towards the steps. He holds the ferryman there, with 20-plus steps looming behind him. Hover, no bother, levitating kick to the head. And Tombstone falls down the fucking steps. Jesus fucking Christ. Tombstone rolls backwards, smashing his skull on every single step before landing at the bottom with a thud. The crowd are going wild. There's boos, cheers, and hisses from the audience. Doom slowly walks down the steps. He's casual. He's terrifying. He gets to the bottom and looks down at Tombstone, who's on all fours. And he walks back up 3 steps, leaping. The curb stomp. Curb stomp to the ferryman. The mad scientist has dominated this match so far. He walks casually back up the stairs. He rolls into the ring, leaving Tombstone down and out on the outside. It's over. There's no chance in hell that he's getting up. The ref joins him and starts the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Clunk. Pitch black. The lights suddenly go out. Olympus is thrust into utter and complete darkness, and apparitions appear around the ring. They're in the crowd too, ghostly apparitions. Their faces are a light blue hue, illuminated but empty. What the fuck is going on? Who the fuck are these people? Ferryman, rise. The chant is overwhelming. It's loud and trembling. The entire arena shakes with it. It thunders around us from voices of the unknown, voices of people or things we can barely see. Flash! Suddenly the lights return and there's Tombstone. The apparitions are gone. The ferryman stands in the middle of the ring with his head lowered. What the fuck is going on? Doom doesn't waste a second. He runs at him full speed with a clothesline. Tombstone ducks. Uppercut, uppercut, a thrusting uppercut. The ferryman's knock. Back goes Doom into the corner. Tombstone backs up and runs at him, leaping into the air with a giant corner splash. Boom! Doom stumbles out. Heart punch! The Soul Taker! Soul Taker from Tombstone. He goes into the cover, and he gets a 1. He gets a 2. And he gets a 3! No! Doom has kicked the fuck out. Tombstone is back to his feet and grabs Doom by the hooded mask, pulling him back up as well. He runs him back into the corner. Only his knee gives out as he does so. The stumble aside, the ferryman gets back up. He's going to town on Doom with right hands before whipping him violently across the ring into the opposite corner. The ferryman storms over as Doom drops to his knees, pulling him under and into position. Jackknife powerbomb, the Ode to Sharon. He covers. 1, 2, 3, no! Doom kicks the fuck out again. Both of these men have given and taken their lumps here tonight. Tombstone gets back to his feet. He puts his hand in the air. He's signaling for the end. It's choke slam time. The scientist is slowly back up. Goozle. No! Kick to the knee by Doom. The impending doom. Death Valley driver out of nowhere. The DVD. Out of nothing. That's gotta be it. Doom can't cover. He's exhausted. Both men lay on the canvas. Doom is the first back to his feet, backing away. He's going to look to break the jar here. He rallies for Tombstone to awaken, and slowly he does. The ferryman begins his crawl, unsure of where he is. Doom rushes. The running punt kick, breaking the jar. No! Tombstone rolled forward out of the way. He rolled out of the fucking way. Doom quickly adjusts, turning to rush Tombstone one more time as he lands on one knee. The boss man slam. You can't run from the motherfucking ferryman. Tombstone covers as the crowd chants with the count. 1, 2, 3. Tombstone has done it. Tombstone has fucking done it. Tombstone has done it. He's won. The crowd go wild as the referee jumps back to his feet. Tombstone is your 2023 Ring King. What a match. But wait, it's not done. Doom's foot. It's on the ropes. Doom's foot's on the fucking ropes. As Tombstone stumbles forward with his arms raised, the referee tells him the count didn't matter. He doesn't understand. He turns to see Doom. Doom stands there, head lowered. What the fuck? Drones. Drones from every direction. Rockets fire at the feet of Tombstone, exploding him down to one knee, then down to all fours. It's the mad monologue. Doom with the ropes, breaking the jar. The running punt kick hits flush to the fucking head of Tombstone. Holy goddamn shit. The power turned Tombstone over in mid-air. Doom into the cover. 1, 2, 3. Doom! Doom has done it! Doom has done it! The scientist rolls off a Tombstone, gets back to his feet, the referee raising his arm in celebration. The crowd is booing, only he spots it. Tombstone's foot is on the fucking ropes. The fans roar with cheers as the ref tells Doom it's not over. He immediately grabs the ref, choking the fuck out of him. The hands of Doom to the referee. The hands of fucking Doom. The referee is being choked out before our very eyes. Snap! Oh no. Oh my god. Doom I don't even think this has ever happened before. Doom snapped the referee's neck. He stops for a moment, holding the lifeless corpse of the referee by his neck. Doom, what are you doing, man? Jesus Christ. Tombstone rises. The ferryman snatches the referee away from Doom and places him carefully down on the canvas, taking a moment to close his eyes. He gets back to his feet and turns around. Steel chair to the fucking skull. That son of a bitch Doom nails him with a fucking steel chair. Tombstone goes down like a sack of shit, but there's no ref. Doom, killed him. The scientist drops the chair on the canvas. He pulls a limp Tombstone back to his feet. Into position. The impending doom. The DVD, the Death Valley driver, right on the steel chair. And he covers. 1. Who's counting? 2. Who's counting? 3. Nobody's counting. 4. Keep going. 5. There's no ref. Suddenly, Felix Foley's Funhouse theme by the Funhouse Band roars into the arena, sending the crowd into absolutely fucking raptures. The last we saw of Scissors was when Doom dropped him in the Odyssey pool, but now he's back to being Felix. Felix Foley is here, and he's wearing a referee shirt. The crowd cheer as Felix hops up the steps like an excited child sliding into the ring. "Hey, buddy!" he yells, waving enthusiastically at Doom, who by now is back to his feet and looking with a tilted head. "You saved me, and I'm gonna save you." "What on earth do you mean?" Doom growls at him. Felix puts an arm around him. "You could have let me remain as that terrible Scissors." "But you didn't. You saved me. We're the tag team champions, friend. How about that? Since you saved me, I'm going to be a good friend back and save you. You don't have to be a murderous psychopath. You can beat Tombstone fair and square. Watch. Roll up. Tombstone with the roll up. 1, 2, 3. No, Doom kicks out. The ferryman exhaustedly bounds away from the cover. He rolls to the outside, leaving Doom on his knees in absolute shock. He gets back up and grabs the steel chair, but Felix stops him, grabbing it. He says, wagging a finger. That's not the right way. Doom growls at the inconvenience, but here comes Tombstone. He spins Doom around and begins delivering right hands, backing him into the rope. He whips him across the ring. The scientist ducks a clothesline attempt, leaping into the air with a neck breaker. Foley squeals in excitement. One half of the tag champs gets back to his feet. He grabs Tombstone, but the Rewind champ delivers a body shot that stumbles him backwards. They both rise. Doom rushes forward. He's scooped up. Elysium Fields, the Tombstone, pile driver, but no! Doom wiggles out. He pushes Tombstone straight into Foley, who instinctively acts. Double arm DDT. Foley just cut the strings. The puppet master. He can't believe he did it. He didn't mean to. Doom rolls Tombstone over into the cover. Felix thinks about it a moment. Another moment. Doom is slamming the canvas in frustration. Then he counts. 1, 2, 3. No, Tombstone kicked out. As the scientist is kicked away with the cover, he's back on his knees, slamming the canvas in frustration. He admonishes Foley for not counting quicker. What's your problem, Foley? He roars and Felix shrugs. It wasn't fair. You made me do that. He begs off. I gave him a gentleman's chance to kick out. Doom gets back to his feet and grabs Foley by the throat, slamming him backwards into the corner with both hands. Do you know what happened to the last referee who infuriated me? He growls angrily. Felix looks down at the deceased ref and nods slowly. Doom releases him, turning around straight into a goozle out of nowhere, for whom the bell tolls. The falling chokeslam by Tombstone. He covers. Felix reluctantly drops down. He's not counting fast. 1. Excuse me. Come on, Doom, buddy. 2. Kick out, kick out. 3. He doesn't. Doom doesn't kick out. Ring King 2023 is finally over. The bell rings. Tombstone rolls exhaustedly away from the cover. He's absolutely shattered. Felix looks dejected and somewhat scared too. He rouses Doom, shaking him to let him know what's happened. As the ferryman gets back to his feet, being handed his crown by the staff at ringside, Tombstone has won Ring King 2023. The king of old school wrestling is the king of destination. Your winner and Ring King 2023, Tombstone. Congratulations. Don't know if you're here, Connor, but congratulations when you see this. What a match. What a match from Dean. Beautiful. Amazing. Amazing match. Great efforts from everybody. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. All right. I'm going to take a second, because it's not an OSW show if you're not having some sort of segment after the match. So I'm sure we're going to have something, and it looks like it. Whew. See, I feel like the one thing that's not going to be breached is that when we see the winner and whatever line, that's the end of the match. I think that's the thing. I'm hydrating. And this is the official switch to water. Matt, if you put that on the bingo card. He is going to troll us one day, and I feel like it's going to be a match that I'm in just to really fuck with me. All right, cool deal. Let's move on. What's coming up? Oh, look at that. Druid and Tombstone in a segment far worse than Death 2. If you remember, Our new king killed Druid earlier. What's he gonna do with him? We're hours later at the mortuary. Tombstone stands in the middle of the cemetery, a shovel in his hand. He's slowly moving dirt from one pile back into what looks to be a nearly covered grave. I'm sorry that I couldn't save you, he says, continuing to pile dirt onto the grave itself. He steps out of the grave and finishes it off, moving the last remnants of soil back to where it was disposed. I did everything I could. I did everything I knew. I just couldn't save you, and I'm sorry. With the grave now filled, Tombstone walks over to his namesake, a large concrete slab. He picks it up with enormous strength and trundles back towards the grave, slamming it into the mud powerfully. He takes a deep breath. There won't be a moment in time that I'll forget what happened to you, he promises. It will remain with me forever, even if you cannot. I wanted nothing more than to make this right. Tombstone brushes the dust away from the gravestone. It reads, "Here lies Druid, laid to rest eternally. Rest, awaken, rest." He turns and walks away, leaving Druid buried alive in the ground. Back inside the mortuary, he heads to the room where Igor lays, still hooked up to machines and still in a coma. Could have been him he was burying tonight. Many might have thought it so. "We couldn't rectify the balance, Igor," he says solemnly. "And for what he did to you, he will suffer a fate far worse than death." Tombstone takes a seat, grabbing Igor's hand. "I need you to awaken, no mentor. Something is happening to me." Suddenly, surrounding him are ghostly apparitions, just like we saw in the Ring King final. They're chanting at him, demanding of him, and he looks confused. They're everywhere. Well, hot damn, look at that. Okay. So Druid has been buried alive, and what a horrible, horrible fate. Much worse than death. Wakes up, dies again, wakes up, dies again, eternally suffocating. Ugh. Ugh. And something is happening to him. I was wondering if those apparitions were meant to be something he was familiar with or not. When there's no more room in hell, the dead shall rise. Okay. And we know that eventually the four horsemen are going to ride for the gates of hell. Could all be connected. I guess we'll have to see. Next is a segment with tech. Okay. Entitled The Red Light District. All right. Clunk, clunk, clunk. Mechanical footsteps stomp methodically in the distance. The red hue illuminates the background, soon shown to be bustling by patrons going about their business. It is the Red Light District. Armand Fidel stands outside Eden, shaking hands with patrons gaining entry to his sleazy and private club. He flashes a wry, sinister smile. His base of operations restored quicker than the burn man could tear it down. That's what I like to see. Drexel soon walks to the front doors of the Shark Tank, stepping outside to see the lights of the Pussycat Club dazzling him. Blacktooth stands at the chain-link fence of the Blood Runner's compound, using a toothpick to clear his latest meal from within his teeth. He shares a look in Drexel's direction, chuckling to himself. Whilst we spend time looking at each of these locations, the clunking of footsteps is continued in the background until they come to an abrupt stop. The hustle and bustle of the red light district is in full effect, so much so that no one pays attention to Tech, stood slap bang in the middle of it all. And boom! A thunderous and explosive shockwave suddenly blasts from where Tech stood, obliterating all those in the vicinity, their blood and viscera flying in every which direction. Holy shit. The shockwave is so powerful the ceiling begins to crumble. Dust begins falling. Fire and flame rage from that centralized point, cascading with the bomb blast in every direction. Tech itself has been reduced to nothing but metal shards, nuts and red-hot bolts slamming into anyone that moves or anything in its way. Concrete starts slamming into the ground as people begin running for safety. The sky is quite literally falling. Screams echo from every direction. They're harrowing. People are on fire, bellowing in rapturous agony. Explosions suddenly start emanating from different areas of the red light district. Broken pipes and beams are falling everywhere. There's blood. So much blood, then silence. When the screams stop, there's an eerie and deathly silence, only interrupted by the electrical buzzing and sound of flame. Hot damn. Hot damn. Hot damn. So Tech shows up, self destructs, and destroys a lot of the red light district. Holy shit. Have to wonder. I don't even know what I have to wonder. Have to wonder why. Did we just see Drexel Blacktooth and Armin Fidel die? I don't know. Tech at the very least, yes. Hot damn. I don't even know what to say, man. That's huge. That's going to have a lot of effect on a lot of things, and it's very interesting how the bomb. Yeah, self-destructor gets sent in as a bomb. Okay. Okay, that's a good question. Was he blown up? Did he blow himself up? Very, very interesting. I think it's very interesting the way that the level itself was damaged. So we can see just how Arcadia is kind of put together. Yes, Red Snow 1 vibes. Indeed. Hot damn. All right. Taking us back to 2015. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's our event. That is Ring King 2023. A hell of a show it has been. Matches were phenomenal. Creative was phenomenal. Big moments up and down the card. Hope everyone is very happy with what we saw. I know I am. And we got some major momentum going. So, like I said at the beginning, this is the start of the push to Red Snow. This is the start of the push to the end of the season. And I think it's going to be pretty stellar. So, I think that'll probably bring us to a close tonight. Our next stream will be Level Mania, which is in just a couple weeks. In just a couple weeks. I don't remember the exact date. But I think we've seen information already what Level Mania consists of. I believe I'll have the stream on that. And then Dean will be doing Lost Tapes at the end of October. So 2 streams in October, so that'll be fun. And then it'll be on to Red Snow. So I guess we'll call it. Everybody have a great evening. We'll do it again. I think there's probably going to be a voice chat if there's not one already in the Discord. So make your way there. Hearts, you guys. Have a great evening.